There's a quiet kind of humiliation that happens when you visit Japan for the first time. You just walk around for a few days, and slowly the realization creeps in that your entire life back home has been a low-effort approximation of how things could actually work. The trains, the streets, the restaurants, the vending machines, the toilets, all of it running so smoothly and thoughtfully that you start to wonder whether the rest of the world is simply not trying, or whether it has genuinely never occurred to anyone that life doesn't have to be this inconvenient. Here are 9 things Japan got so right that it should honestly be illegal for the rest of the world to still be doing it any other way. 1. Screen protector. Vending machines. Every human being on Earth who has ever owned a smartphone has been humiliated by a screen protector. You buy one, you watch 3 YouTube tutorials on how to fix it. You then clean the screen with the little alcohol wipe they include, you peel the backing with the precision of a surgeon, and then, after all that effort, you end up with a bubble right in the middle of your screen. Japan saw this and said, "Not here." Film Labo is a screen-protecting vending machine found across Japan that doesn't just sell you the film. It automatically applies it to your phone for you. You walk up, tap your phone model on the screen, insert the device, and the machine does the rest with no bubbles, no crooked edges, and a perfect fit delivered in. Under 2 minutes. Meanwhile, the rest of us are still hunched over a bathroom counter at midnight, breathing on our screens like that's going to help. 2. Private karaoke rooms. Most of the world does karaoke in a public bar in front of strangers who did not ask to hear you sing. You grab a microphone, scroll the list until you find something you vaguely know, and then you perform for an audience of people who are either too polite or too drunk to tell you the truth. It is a social experiment in collective tolerance, and Japan looked at this setup and asked a very reasonable question. Why? Japanese karaoke centers have private booths and rooms with sofas, a drinks and light meal menu, and free Wi-Fi, so you rent the room by the hour. Go in with your friends or by yourself if you're brave, and sing as loud as you want with 0 public consequences and 0 judgment from the table next to you. 3. Fake food. Displays that tell you exactly what you're getting. You've stood outside a restaurant and squinted at a menu you couldn't read, taken a gamble, pointed at something, and received a dish that bore absolutely no resemblance to what you were expecting. Japan eliminated this problem 100 years ago and did it with what can only be described as edible sculpture. Shoku and Sampru are hyper-realistic scale replicas of food items made from plastic, wax, or resin, and displayed in restaurant windows across the country. You walk past a restaurant and see a 3-dimensional model of exactly what the ramen looks like, exactly how the curry is plated, exactly how thick the tonkatsu is. Now you can make your decision with full information and no unpleasant surprises waiting on the other side of the door. The craftsmanship involved is extraordinary, with artisans handcrafting each piece to capture accurate color, texture, and presentation, and some models even feature floating forks and mid-pour liquids. The rest of the world uses photos, which lie. Japan uses sculpture, which doesn't. 4. Capsule hotels. It is 11:47 p.m. You missed the last train by 4 minutes, and you are standing on a platform in a city you don't fully know, already calculating the cost of a taxi that is going to sting you in the morning. In most parts of the world, this is just your problem now, and you figure it out alone. In Japan, someone already thought of you decades ago. The world's first capsule hotel opened in 1979 in Osaka's Umeda district, originally designed as an affordable option for salarymen who missed the last train home, and these days they've evolved considerably into something much more impressive. Modern capsule hotels feature pods equipped with smart technology that controls lighting and airflow, communal lounges, co-working areas, and rental amenities, so you sleep, shower, and leave in the morning having spent a fraction of what a regular hotel would have cost you. The capsule itself somehow feels more like a space pod than a last resort, and the concept works so well that tourists now book them on purpose just for the experience. 5. Robots. Restocking your refrigerated drinks. Convenience stores in Japan run 24 hours a day and need their drink fridges restocked constantly. That restocking traditionally required a human being to stand inside a refrigerated unit for hours at a time, shuffling cans and bottles in a space lit like a crime scene. Japan said no. Telexistence Incorporated deployed autonomous robot arms into Family Mart stores to handle the restocking of refrigerated beverages, eliminating the need for store employees to replenish drinks in uncomfortable refrigerated environments. The robot, called TX Scara, uses AI and depth sensors to identify when shelves are running low, then reaches in from the back to fill them, replacing 1 to 3 hours of human work per day per store while running around the clock without complaint. Nobody has to stand in the cold anymore. Nobody has to keep running from the register to the back wall, and Japan automated the miserable part so the humans could be freed up. for the parts that actually require a human. 6. Autonomous delivery robots. This is the one that makes you feel like you're watching a science fiction film set in the present tense. You open an app, order from a convenience store, and shortly after, a small robot shows up at your door. In May 2025, outdoor deliveries using the autonomous robot Lambi began in the Minami-Osawa area of western Tokyo, allowing customers to order from roughly 3,000 items at nearby 7-Eleven stores and have them delivered directly to their homes. Lambi travels at around 6 kilometers per hour, automatically recognizes traffic lights and pedestrian crossings, navigates hills smoothly, and stops when approached by a human being to ensure safety. The response from residents has been enthusiastic enough that people reportedly go outside early just to watch it arrive. The rest of the world is still arguing about whether autonomous delivery is theoretically viable, while Japan's cheerful little robot is already on its 3rd delivery of the afternoon. 7. Convenient restaurant ordering. Walk into almost any casual restaurant in Japan, and the menu isn't just a list of words and prices. It's a fully visual, fully functional system, designed to get food in front of you with as little friction between you and your meal as humanly possible. The order process is often handled by a ticket machine at the entrance, which means you decide what you want before you even sit down, hand over the ticket, and your food arrives without a single unnecessary back and forth conversation. No "Are you ready to order?" asked 3 times. No waiting for someone to notice you exist. No guessing what the dish actually looks like because the machines and displays show you everything. The friction has been engineered out of the experience so completely that you don't even notice it until you go home and find yourself sitting in a restaurant abroad, waving at a server who is looking directly through you like you're made of glass. 8. Tactile paving that guides the visually impaired everywhere. Walk through any Japanese train station, subway platform, or city pavement, and you will see yellow textured tiles running along the floor in a continuous trail. Tactile paving was developed in 1965 by Japanese inventor Seiichi Miyake, who used his own money to create textured bricks so that visually impaired pedestrians could navigate upcoming hazards like pavement curbs and platform edges. The yellow bumpy surfaces feature dots and bars that communicate direction and danger. They run from station entrances to platforms, through ticket gates, along escalators, and through corridors in one uninterrupted complete system. Japan built it in 1965, made it law nationwide within a decade, and it took the rest of the world until the 1990s to start catching up, and even then, not everywhere has done it with the same consistency or commitment that Japan treated as the bare minimum. 9. Underground bicycle parking silos. Most cities in the world have solved the bicycle parking problem by simply not solving it. You lock your bike to a fence, a lamppost, a railing that was never meant for bikes, or you leave it chained to itself on the pavement and hope for the best. It is a system built entirely on optimism and mild anxiety, and Japan looked at it and decided that was not good enough. Japan built underground automated bicycle parking silos called EcoCycle. It was developed by the company Geekin, and the way they work is almost too satisfying to describe without sounding like you're making it up. You roll your bike up to a small entry port at street level, slot the front wheel into the guide, tap your card, and the machine pulls your bicycle underground in about 8 seconds, storing it in a cylindrical silo that can hold up to 204 bikes in a space no bigger than a standard parking spot. When you come back, you tap your card again, and your bike rises back up to street level within 13 seconds, completely untouched and exactly as you left it. The silos are earthquake resistant, fully automated, operate around the clock, and keep bikes protected from both weather and theft in a way that a lamppost and a padlock simply cannot compete with. They exist across Tokyo, Osaka, and other major cities, tucked invisibly beneath streets and squares with nothing but a small terminal to indicate that an entire underground carousel of bicycles is spinning quietly below your feet. The rest of the world is still zip-tying bikes to railings and calling it infrastructure, and Japan built a system so elegant it makes you feel slightly embarrassed on behalf of everyone else. At this point, it seems like we should all move to Japan, because there's so much we are missing out on. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and stay tuned for more content on Japan Route.